In today's podcast, I'm interviewing a very special guest, and it happens to be a patient of mine. My team and I were out in Hawaii a few months ago, and we ran into, I know we were out in Hawaii, feel bad for us, and we ran into some of our patients, and they invited us to dinner in their condo, and we went and had a wonderful time. But what really was exciting for me that came out of this is both Mike and his wife proceeded to tell us why they chose our office, who referred them, and a couple of their experiences that they had with treatment rendered. Like I've told all of you, I am no better than any of you listening out there. I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses. I try to turn those weaknesses into strength when I can. Sometimes I don't have the ability, so I just run with my strengths. And I want you to listen to what he is talking about, because there's many takeaways that you're going to get from this interview, and I hope that you take them in the right light, and I hope you think about it and build on the words that this patient talked about. It's not very often that we get to talk to our patients outside of the office, people that we don't socialize. I'm not talking about your friends that come to you. No, I'm talking about normal, everyday patients like Mike and his wife are, Chris. It's going to be an amazing podcast this week and next week as I do part 1 and part 2. And I hope you listen to what they're saying, because maybe we should talk to our patients more and ask them what kind of experience that they do have in our offices. And we begin our podcast right there.
Welcome, all you wonderful dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business Dental Podcast Show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now, the host of our show, the clinical director at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm really excited because I'm being joined by one of my patients. His name's Mike, and we'll introduce him in just a second. But, actually, Mike, tell everybody hi.
Hi, how you doing?
This will be fun. Everybody, I know. Don't worry. It's like 500-600 people listen to the podcast every week. Don't let that bother you, though. Hey, so I was out every year. I take my team, which many of you know, if they hit their numbers and they do well, I take my team out to either Orlando or I take them out to Hawaii. And we were out in Maui, and I ran into one of my patients out there, and we actually went out to dinner with him and his wife, and we sat down, and it was really fun because we weren't in the dental setting. And we were actually able to just sit back and talk, and they invited us to their place. They were so kind and fed us dinner, and then I sat down and I started to talk with Mike about how he found us and what his experience has been, and he was so open and honest, and I realized it was something that every one of us in dentistry we need to hear, and we're going to talk about. Mike's going to tell his story about a condition that he had with the dentist, and I'm just going to ask questions because this goes down to what we've been teaching about on periodontal disease and how we are not treating it correctly and how we need to be better. So, Mike, start with your story and just go from there about what you experienced at the previous office and then what happened from there. Go for it.
Well, thank you. So it was kind of an eye-opener for me. We've been with our past dentist for probably 35 years, maybe even longer, a long time. We've known him for years and years and years. And, every dentist appointment I had with him, I kept hearing, "Oh, you're looking good. Everything looks great. You look fabulous. We'll see you next time." And they would do a cleaning and everything was fine. But yet my gums, I had some bleeding and I had some issues, and they really never addressed it, never said anything about it. I asked about it and they said, well, that's somewhat normal. And
Well,
you got to brush more, you got to floss more.
What kind of problems were you having with your gums? I mean, what did you experience at home that would cause you to say, I got a problem here?
Well, just brushing. My gums would bleed just brushing, and when I'd floss, they would bleed. And so, and that's pretty much the extent of it. There was some sensitivity between my teeth when I would floss into the gum level, and I really couldn't figure out what it was. But that's, I didn't really have anything more than that. It was pretty much that. And so we at some point had a change of dentists. I had a friend that recommended Dr. Rob, and he just said he's great. He's very modern, has everything that you could possibly want. My dentist, I will give you a little bit of background. He I think, refused to buy anything that's modern. Everything he had was just kind of antiquated, old-fashioned. It took him years to even get a digital X-ray in his office. And so he finally got that.
Let me give you a little background about Mike, just so that all of you know. Mike is a technology wizard. He is a software designer, an entrepreneur. Okay, so he's, but how many of our patients are looking at what he just said right there? I thank you for pointing that out, Mike, because that's a big one in dentistry that we train on. Keep going.
So from our friend's recommendation, and one of the things that he said and that I really liked is that with all this modern technology he was able to actually create a crown. I'm at the age now where I'm getting quite a few crowns, and none of them ever fit, when they send them out and have them milled, at an outside dental lab. And so it really kind of interested me to have somebody that I could go into the office and sit down and literally with one appointment and walk out with a brand new tooth or a crown tooth. And, it wasn't, I didn't have to go back. I didn't have to wear a temporary for 2 weeks, which is really kind of a pain, and they never stay in.
So is that what your friend told you about our office? That was kind of one of the talking points.
It was, and it wasn't really related to my periodontal disease, because at the time I really didn't understand it. It was mostly my wife had a situation, and she had a really bad experience and just wanted to go in and have the crown done. And that's when we got the recommendation for you, because she just didn't want to have to keep going through that 2 weeks worth of time between getting the prep work done and the crown. So that's how we originally got turned on to you. And so we said, let's just change dentists. It's time. And I, at the time, really didn't know that I had much of a problem until I got to your office. And, one of your gals took a look at when you looked at my mouth and said, whoa, you've got a serious problem here. And I did and didn't realize it. But the sad part of it is even my dentist, after all the years that I've been with him, really I'm sure he had to have recognized it, but he didn't really say anything to me. So I've been going on for years and years and years with this condition and had absolutely no idea how serious it was.
So here you had bleeding gums, you had pockets, and what happens oftentimes in dentistry is the dentist will just come into the hygienist and say, well, just clean them better, dive down in there, and the hygienist will look at the doc and go, but he has periodontal disease. We should treat it as periodontal disease. And then the doc will say, oh, just clean it better. Tell him to brush more. And it doesn't get rid of it. So your gums continually bled for a long time. Now you're in my office. Now what happens with my hygienist and me? What did you experience after that?
I don't know if you want me to use names or not, but I had one dental hygienist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can use the names in my office.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, we had, the hygienist that I dealt with was just absolutely fabulous. She just was so careful. She was very thorough. She had, she was very, very observant of, what I needed to have. I was treated incredibly well, felt very comfortable. But it took quite a while to get my periodontal disease under control. I would say probably a year and a half maybe. But through multiple treatments, going in every 3 months. And, with treatments of the gums. And I have to tell you that was a little bit of a painful experience, but not anywhere near as bad as I think the long-term effects of not having it treated. So to me, it was absolutely awesome that they would recognize immediately that I had this problem and I had to get it taken care of. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so that was our office that recognized it? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. The other dentist didn't. I went to your office. In fact, I will tell you that when I went to your office and you told me I had this serious disease, because my dentist said nothing about it formally, I really didn't know who to believe. It was, I had no experience with you, but I just didn't understand it. I mean, how could a dentist that I had before not tell me what I had and the seriousness of what I had until I get to your office, and all of a sudden, immediately in the first visit, I was informed that I had this periodontal disease that we really needed to deal with immediately because it was fairly serious.
And did Nichelle give you some documents to take home with you?
Yes, Nichelle gave me everything. You gave me some documents. I had a chance to, in the folder that Dr. Rob presented to me, I had a chance to read everything over and understand it better. And then I kind of realized that all the symptoms that I had were, what he was telling was really factual, and I really needed to take care of this. So I just said, yeah, let's do it, and felt comfortable in Dr. Rob's hands and also in Nichelle's hands, my hygienist. And, I have to say that it's just been pretty good experience all the way along. It's taken 1.5 years, but today I have no bleeding gums. All of my pockets, I think that's what you call them, all, they're not deep anymore. I've got a couple of very minor areas that are slowly healing, but for the most part, my entire mouth is now fully healed and I don't have that disease anymore.
So I'm going to, it's kind of fun listening to, the length of time. And I'm just going to share with all of you that we treat periodontal disease very aggressively. And Mike actually came in for multiple visits every 6 weeks for about the first 6 months. And by treating it aggressively, then we were able to move him to periodontal maintenance. And then after that, aren't you back on 6-month recall now, Mike?
I think so. We're actually in Hawaii right now, so I haven't been back and had to postpone my appointment. But yeah, I think when I get back, that's probably the maintenance plan I'll be on at that point.
Yeah. So I was talking to Nichelle, and it's been, it typically we tell the patients, depending on their situation, it will be about a 6 to 12 month process to eradicate the periodontal disease. And Mike is now at the point where everything's healed up, but again, how we treat it is way more aggressive than the majority of offices are treating it. Now we know that there's other institutions out there that are starting to follow these protocols that have been cutting edge for years, but the hygiene schools are not teaching it. Many of the dental schools, it's the typical 4 quads of SRP and then put them on forever periodontal maintenance. And why do we treat our patients like that? So Mike now, he doesn't have any, there's no bleeding on probing. There's no pockets have receded. He has a couple of areas we're watching, just like 2 areas we're watching 4 millimeter pockets to make sure that they continue to heal. But he's back. He's now scheduled on 6-month recare. And he's out in Hawaii, and right, Mike, you can't keep track of anything when you're out in Hawaii, but don't worry, we're keeping track of it for you.
Somebody needs to.
And so I think it's really interesting that when Mike told me this and his experience and how Nichelle dealt with him, my hygienist, our protocols that we have in place and our thought leadership on periodontal disease, it amazed me to hear what his previous experience was, which happens all the time, unfortunately, in our field. And now to hear that he can brush and floss his teeth and it doesn't look like a crime scene in there anymore. Am I kind of stating that? Am I overstating that, or am I?
No, gosh, my mouth feels so nice now. It's just absolutely amazing, the difference. So, and your staff's been just incredible to work with, just friendly and very caring. I just felt like I've been in really good hands since we made this change. So it's been hard, to look back and realize what I'd been through and where I am now, and what could have changed years ago and should have changed years ago that didn't. So this is, I'm so elated that we found Dr. Rob in his office. He just, he made things happen.
Well, here's the other thing too. And I've researched who his other dentist was, and he's a great guy. He's a very good guy. He does good work. The unfortunate truth is in dentistry, we have no problems telling a patient they need a root canal and a crown. We have no problem doing full mouth cases on patients. But my goodness, when it comes to periodontal disease, we find ourselves treating to the insurance companies. And that's where dentists fell. And that's where the patients suffer, is because we think we have to treat to the limitations of inclusiveness to the insurance companies. And we don't have to. We never should treat our patients that way. We would never want to be treated that way. And that's part of our training at My Practice, My Business. That's what we're able to teach, so that patients can have the same experience that Mike has experienced. And it's healthy, it works, and it's fun to have a patient that is cognizant of his oral health care and can see the difference in the type of treatment he had before and the type of treatment that our office isn't any more special than anybody else's office. It's just how we treat. We don't know what we don't know. And if we want to stay in that status quo itis mentality of the Yanindi syndrome, no, I'm not doing it, then the patient suffers. And if we break out and we treat our practices like the scientific institutions that they should be, and we're continually striving to learn and understand and better ourselves with our patients, then we get a Mike experience. And I'm like, Mike, I was blown away. When I was sitting down with you that night, I thought, our docs need to hear your experience, because we don't hear our patients' experiences. Mike, we don't listen to our patients in that way. And I am so grateful that you made those comments and that you expressed that experience and you talked about it, because that was powerful.
Well, I'd like to make another point.
Please.
It's sad for me to hear you say that we're kind of victimized by the insurance companies and how doctors have to relate to insurance companies. I really would prefer having both sides of it. If my doctor or dentist before told me that I had this problem and that the insurance company would not cover this, and I had to make a conscious decision whether I was going to get it fixed and pay for part of it or all of it myself, I would like to at least have that option and know about it, but I didn't. And, to me, I don't think that staying with the same doctor would have allowed me to heal. And I just never had that option. So it's interesting that you say that, Dr. Rob, because I had no idea, I guess, that it was really driven by insurance companies. And it's kind of sad, because I think patients need to be better informed. At least from my perspective, that's my feeling about it.
No greater words were spoken, Mike. That's why Tracy and I, we took it upon ourselves to here in the state of Utah to introduce the components of House Bill 359 that got passed by Congress, got passed by the House and by the Senate here just a few weeks ago, and will go into law on May 4th. And it protects patients, and it protects the dentists that serve those patients. And it literally is a bill that has put dental insurance companies on notice. And we're going to continue to fight that fight to solve these problems that are dictated by dental insurance companies, whether directly or indirectly. And it happens both ways, directly and indirectly. And we're going to continue to help patients in the state of Utah and to help these dentists and get laws passed that protect both. And I'm glad you made that comment, because that is exactly what this is all about.
Well, it is. And I am one that likes to be informed. I want to know both sides. I don't want to just hear a biased side because it's driven by an insurance company. So, and then I'll make the decision. If I make the decision that is I think at the time best for me, and I choose not to act or fix the problem, then that's my problem. But that decision shouldn't be on the dentist. It should be on me.
The patient should be given the choice, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Mike, for being with us here today and sharing that story. I think we'll have you and your wife back again and talk about the other component that you had that we talked about. You keep your eyes open for the wells and out there jumping up, down,
There's a lot of them
in Maui, and you be safe out there. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay.
You're welcome. Thanks, Dr. Rob, and thank you for everything you've done for me. It's greatly appreciated.
Hey, it's an honor to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the best training you'll ever experience. Those are the words of our clients, not us. Our mission statement is simple. We increase the net revenue of dental practices with our key methods, tools, and training utilizing everyday need-based dentistry. We believe that there's never been a more important time than now for dentists to know what we know, and that is 1, how to compete with retail America. 2, how to be profitable with dental procedures, especially those performed on patients with dental insurance plans. 3, how to place oral health care at the forefront of patients' discretionary spending. And 4, how to ethically, legally, and morally be paid fairly for the services you provide. All of us here at My Practice, My Business know exactly how to help you implement each of those talking points and more with our key methods, knowledge, and training. Our clients' testimonies say it all. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon at the My Practice, My Business training facility located in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.